I guess we could do the back one for sure, and then we could have the other one ready to go. But yeah, that's really crap. I mean, I'm gonna have to order more shims. I've got one more that's mangled, but that's not gonna be enough to fix my problem, so I'll have to acquire more of those. Welcome back! If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This is the Jubilee Ford, which is actually my first tractor. And we've been messing with the steering box. And in the last one, we got to the point where we needed more shims. I did not have those, so I ordered them. So we're going to pick up from where we left off last time. I went ahead and assembled one of the sector gears so you could see what that looks like. And then we will throw in the footage of us putting it all back together and hopefully putting it back on the tractor. We'll just see how long it works out to. Like I've said before, I try to keep the videos around half an hour or so, a little more, because I feel like that's all a person could watch in one sitting anyway. So I don't know, YouTube might disagree with me and think that it should be hours long, but that's the way I've been doing it, and I'm going to keep it up. So here's the footage from the leftover footage from the other day, and then we'll pick it up from there. If we want to, I guess we can. Do we want to keep going? It would be this one, which would be, all right. The little kits come with pretty well everything a guy needs. Yeah, so we could potentially do this. I'm just looking at all the seals I got here. So out of this, we need this thing first. And that's gonna go in over here. It looks like it's double lipped, so it may not matter. Let's see if we have a socket down here that'll do that. Not quite big enough. Sure, let's do it crooked. That always works good. All right, so for this rig, our cap here, there's an O-ring that goes around there. Maybe. And then, if we clean off all of our grease nests we've made, they send a new adjuster thing in this kit, which I don't really know why. The originals look just fine. They also sent more, they sent like bushings along, which I'm trying to remember. Oh, when I disassembled it, where did it go? I think one of them goes in there. Alright. They sent a lot of stuff along. Alright. Now this deal, you actually have to screw it into the piece there. So that may be a trick. See if you can follow my thought process here. But this is how you adjust the clearance between the two when you're done. So we're gonna do this number here. And there's a seal that goes under there. And then there's There's A. What did they send us new? They sent us everything new, I think. I need that washer there for this. Maybe. Is the old one a better fit or not? If the old one's a tighter fit, I think it is. The new one, I don't like the new washer. It lets the O-ring come up through it. We don't want that. So I'm going to use the old washer. We will reduce that, we'll change that later. But for now, that's what we want. Because we'll mesh these two gears into each other by adjusting this. We're plugging away, friends. It doesn't look like we're doing it, but we are. We just have to do our thing here. Alright, so the only thing left for here then is this felt seal. And then when we put our arms on, it came with a new nut and lock washer, which I don't know why. I don't know why you would need on that. Your old one's probably fine. Alright. So essentially the back half there is done. And then we will have to get our shims, I think, and set the top the way we want it. And then I'll slide this last one in. Because, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to tell what my in play is here without turning everything. So then I would know. But I'm going to have more shims, and that's just the unfortunate thing. I did not realize it would be off by that much, but I guess when you figure how it's been grinding, it's probably a lot better than it was, so. Alright, so it's many days later. Shims have arrived. And what I'm going to do is probably follow the advice of my good buddy John Bender, who said, you know, start the way I was with the steering column, set that, then put in this middle one and set that, and then do the back one last. So I'm going to pull that one back out of here in a minute. And then that makes a lot more sense, so you can kind of tell how you're going. And that's probably typically the way I usually do it. I just threw that in there so that it wasn't all laying all over the table. But we need to get this top deal set up. And yeah, so that's where our shims come in. So we'll get this pulled back off of here and then take care of that. I was going to show you these, but I guess it's not on this one. If you look on this one, it's got a number 1 on the that one tooth, and then that corresponds to a mark on one of these. And I saw it the other day. I don't see it right now, of course, because I want to show you that, you know, that's why I don't see it. But whatever, let's get the top pulled off and let's try to get this part set up at least, so that we're making some progress, because it's kind of depressing to have it all scattered apart and never get anywhere with it. Oh, what fun. Now it appears to me that this new wad of shims is a lot thicker than the old wad of shims. And it would appear to me maybe a guy should just pick some of the best ones. Let's get rid of some of them paper thin ones for now. We'll mix and match later. Uh-oh. This just keeps getting worse every time I do something. I found a little steel ball bearing, which is obviously it is picked up off the table from one of our other projects. Come on, baby doll. Come on. Okay. Now that is quite the wad of shims. And I think it's too much. So, I know that's probably not... How would you know? You're going to say to yourself, well, with that much slop in it, even when I tighten her down, it's still going to be too much, I think. Should have probably tightened it down, tried it, but let's get rid of a few more of these. Okay. Let's try this. And if this does it, we're good. And if it doesn't, we'll pull out another one or so. Okay, let's see what that did for it. That's too much in play. But I like the effort. Oh, friends, we're gonna have quite the game on our hands this time, I bet you. We're gonna end up going through about every combination possible. Let's take out one thick one and see if that does it. Well, or not. Let's just take that back. Less is more. Let's get rid of 2, 3.
6.5 hours later.
Whoa. Okay. Why is that there? Oh yeah, that's what I want. Sweet. Sweet. Let's go there. All right. So, after much to do, effectively what I've done here is I ended up using 2 really thick shims, and I have all these of the originals and the new ones left over. I didn't need all the stuff. So I'll put these back in the little bag and save them for another steering box project. But what I've got is I've got like just the right amount of in play. I mean, you can feel it if you pull up on it, that you can just feel. I can't put that through to the camera to describe to you, but it's what we want. It turns freely and all is right with the world. Now, what we're going to have to do is when we put this next one in, here. I'll have to take the other one out. But we're going to have to get it lined up to where the middle, it's the middle tooth, you know what I'm saying, on that rack is in the middle tooth here, so that we get the most travel for our, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the first thing I'm going to do is pull this one back out so that we can work progressively backwards. All right, also a thing to note is the size of the teeth is different on both, so you shouldn't be able to screw it up. You would know, I mean, you would think. All right, so essentially on that piece, we have 3 slots, 4 teeth, 3 slots. This we have 3 teeth in the middle, if you see what I mean, not counting the wide flat places on both sides. So we need to get the middle tooth into the middle slot, and we should be good on that. Probably not going to be able to do a whole lot of filming on this. Oh, okay. Oh, telephone. That's probably important. I need to take it. It's all right. Gotta go to the dentist, and they don't have my right insurance information. And I know I have it because they take it out of my check all the time. That was the whole point. Come on. See, the problem I'm having here is it's wanting to roll that other piece as I stick this down in there, and that's not going to work. I got to hold this up. All right, there's much to do. I think I got it. But now, what I'm going to have to do is set this loose so I can tighten down the cap and then go back and, you know what I'm saying. See, that's going to, no, that's what I want. It's a process, friends, it's a process. Just the way it is. I think actually this is the one that had the clip on it, wasn't it? Yeah. Does it matter? Not really. But at the same time, it does. It's like the first day of a guy using tools. Elbow popped, so the torque wrench tells us that we're probably there. Oh, shiza. We're really good there. So essentially, if you need to take up any slack or anything, shoving this in there is going to increase the amount that it goes, the teeth engagement is what I'm trying to say, you know. Too much and it's going to be really hard to steer. Not enough, it's going to be super sloppy. So we may have to come back and change it later. Now the trick is getting our middle 2 pieces lined up here. Like I said, the other day, I was almost certain that I saw a mark. That there was a mark in there on the gear. Of course, now I do not see that thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teeth, 6 teeth. Okay, so 6 teeth would mean 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4 is where we want to be. So that space should line up with our 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I swear it makes sense, friends. Our sector gear has 7 teeth, so as long as we put the middle one in, we should be good. How are we? Well, we're together, but we're very tight. I think I'm going to have to back off this other one, back them both off, and go again, because that ain't gonna turn. I also need to go get the steering wheel so I don't do something I regret. You know, I really don't want to. You know what I'm saying. I know. I don't want to. Man, that's in there. Got that a little too tight there, didn't I? Okay. I'm gonna say that we're there where we need to be. I'm gonna tighten this up. And then I'm gonna screw it all on. Okay, so maybe that did not make sense. I don't know how much of that footage is going to be usable. But essentially what I did was you adjust those deals to take out the in play. But it's a fine dance between making sure that you have it tight enough that it doesn't, the wheels don't do this going down the road, and also that it doesn't get too tight on the ends, because like I said before, usually these are more in the middle where you're going straight, where you are most of the time, than on the outer corners, you know, like when you turn. So you might have to give up a little bit of looseness or so, just to make it so that you don't get so tight you can't turn it, if that makes sense. Probably not, because I don't make sense much of the time I speak, but this is much better than it was, because obviously with the other setup and a bearing out, we could not turn it at all one way. And if I can turn it by hand with no steering wheel here, then I would say we are golden. So what's next? Well, I think I'm going to paint it. And then I think in the next installment, we will fill it with oil and we will mount it on the tractor and get that hooked back up and check it there. And then the verdict is still out whether or not I will do some cleaning up and painting on the tractor. Whilst I have it apart, it's really hard not to just clean up a few more things. We still have to fix that air cleaner that I messed up. So, yeah, that kind of thing is what I'm thinking. But I would call this a successfully rebuilt gearbox. It just needs fluid put in it, and I'll have to go to town to get that anyway, so that's where we stand. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. That helps out the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Tell me that you liked it, or tell me that you hated it. Tell me I'm a moron. I really don't care, but anything that you say helps us out too. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.